Welcome everybody to the next episode of the Cannabis Review. I'm delighted to be joined in this episode by Itay Segal and Jean-Claude Scicluna from Cellotex. How are you guys keeping?
Thank you, all good, and thanks for having us.
I'm delighted to have you
Thanks.
both on. You're one of the hot companies in Europe at the moment, so I thought everybody would like to find out what it is that you guys exactly are doing. Can we first and foremost start with Itay and go through what's your area of expertise in this industry and how did you come to set up Cellotex, and then we'll do the same with Jean-Claude after that.
Perfect. So I'm coming from technology background, product, AI, and actually following a personal story from my father, getting to understand a bit more on medical cannabis. He actually got me curious why no one knows, why doctors refer to entourage effect or it's personalized. No one actually knows the dosage or what you should take or when. It's all about the patient and going through trial and error without a real compass. This is where actually we have thought on Cellotex, having more data come into play, understanding more on what's going on with the patient, what's the actual intake. The goal is eventually to create a closed-loop medication. By closed-loop medication, you can actually have it much more precise and optimized and customized towards the patient symptoms, not as a generic one-fits-all, as I would say conventional medicine is doing, but something which is more personalized, and medical cannabis actually is the great treasure which is out there waiting to be unlocked. And this is what we've started.
Okay, thank you very much. And Jean-Claude, you?
Really and truly, it's something which also changes the experience for patients. And when we talk about the patient experience, often patients in traditional medical settings have issues accessing their data, have issues owning their data, and most importantly, have issues sharing this data with the professionals they want to share, be it doctors. And with medical data, it's always hard to get the balance just right, to get the balance between what patients can interact with and ultimately the data and the insights that doctors need in order to make good diagnosis, to reduce errors in diagnosis and in prescription. So really, what we're building here is a middle ground, a sweet middle ground where this can be shared and where this can lead to better insights, better data, better diagnosis, and ultimately better care.
Okay, incredible. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to the first topic now, which is AI-powered precision. And Itay, we'll start with you. When it comes to the technology behind the AI that you guys are building, is it large language models? Is it computer science to throw through large chunks of data? What is the exact technology that makes it special to be able to give this precision medicine?
This is a perfect question. The short answer is a bit of all of the above. What we're starting off is obviously assessing the patient's symptoms. The assessment of the patient's symptoms is not always easy. We're discussing about pain, anxiety, so you need a lot of biomarkers, and this is where we collect as much biomarkers as possible, both passively and actively from the patients who are using the app. The best example for that would be connecting to my wearable. My wearables actually knows how am I sleeping, it knows my heart rate variance, different biofeedbacks which are relevant to understand what's actually going on with that person. Obviously capturing the medicine intake, alongside with that, you're able to understand what actually happened to the symptoms during the following hours. That was the passive assessment. Active assessment can be visual or audio or anything that can be captured from that patient in order to, again, assess the symptom and assess the outcome. So really put on the engineering hat, it's an input-output problem. And in order to do that, yes, as you said, you need as much data as possible on that specific patient in order to better understand its symptoms, potentially forecast them, and of course, suggest to the doctor what would be the right course of treatment. Referring to the language model, which is an interesting one, What we're actually incorporating these days on the next version of Cellotex is a language model, which is essentially your digital caregiver. What we have understood from the first patients, it can be cumbersome because you always need to collect also the patient feedback. How do you feel? The way that it's being done today is, okay, a scale 1 to 10, how is your pain, where is that? But with language models, you can actually gain a lot more information from that patient, him doing it in a much more convenient manner, which is natural to him. It can be by text or by audio, to actually tell your doctor what's going on instead of running through a questionnaire. So by the language model incorporated and empowered with the symptoms and the medicines, you actually have almost full circle of what you can learn about that patient, obviously taking into account his EHR and background information. But bottom line here, as you have mentioned, this is an AI model, and what we're doing is actually empowering that with as much data as possible.
Yeah, it seems to be the opportunity, as you said, that the current standard is 1 to 10 on a scale. How do you feel? How is your pain? Being given patients the opportunity to be able to talk directly to, whether it's a custom-built applications with a smartphone or an at-home device, and be able to actually have a full conversation and get more nuanced information per patient would be where some of the holy grail to be able to build these targeted medicines is going to be.
Exactly that. So just to refer to one of the points that you have mentioned, our solution is at the moment hardware-less. That means that we're tapping into existing wearables, existing mobile devices. Our goal is for that to be within reach of any patient, and the way to go about it is on the software side. What we're seeing is that a lot of the research at the moment is very limited in terms of the number of participants, and also very geographically focused. And what Cellotex, and part of our goal is actually for that data to serve mankind and not specific companies or products. This is why we're agnostic to the products. What we're here for is actually to set the compass for doctors and patients to have their personalized compass instead of, okay, medical cannabis, go ahead and try it.
Okay, moving to yourself now, Jean-Claude, the next topic I wanted to bring up was data and insights for doctors. One of the big things we see across the industry is the lack of data for doctors to be able to A, prescribe the medicine, and B, then prescribe it confidently based on the nuanced metrics of each individual patient that's going to walk through, whether it's a high tolerance to cannabinoids or whatever this variable may be. How important is gathering this data and providing this insights for doctors around the world?
Right. Well, starting off, medicine, evidence-based medicine, which we practice, is increasingly becoming data-driven. And this is not simply in cannabinoids. Simply looking at other disciplines like radiology and oncology, we can appreciate that as time goes by, the doctor's tool of choice will be looking at a computer screen rather than using a stethoscope, for example. And definitely, with plant medicine and cannabinoids having such a complex way of interacting with each other, the need for evidence-based medicine and the need for data-driven insights is bigger than ever before. So increasingly, it's very difficult for doctors to be able to understand what the medication is doing in their patients' bodies, because first and foremost, they're not with their patients. Once they go home and your patient is medicating, we have the term we sometimes refer to as self-medicating, when someone medicates without the supervision of a doctor. But truly, even when you're being supervised, and coming from the point of view of my experience in prescription, sometimes patients come back and you understand that there are communication issues. You understand there are nuances of both taking the cannabinoid medication or the time taken or certain other activities around that. And you understand that really cannabinoid medication is not a simple prescription silver bullet. It takes care. It takes a journey with the patient. You really need to have a degree of hand-holding and a lot of time with the patient. And this creates, in modern clinics, with the understaffing, even in medicine we've seen since the COVID pandemic, it has created a really huge bottleneck. So the need to be able to convert all that data, all these insights about not simply THC or CBD. Now we have more and more doctors being sometimes specialized in minor cannabinoids, and a lot of work we're seeing with minor cannabinoids and research data. It's a lot to keep up with. So something we think will release that bottleneck will be the ability of a solution to crunch the numbers and give the insights for the doctors. And then from the doctor's point of view, just like we work with radiology, we look at the data and then do actionable decisions based on that data. This will give not just cannabinoid medicine, but all plant medicine a significant boost, a boost in the credibility, because we know that cannabinoid medicine and the credibility and the stigma is definitely still present, but also, and most importantly really, is a boost in the accuracy and in the patient outcome.
Okay, very interesting. A question for you both now. I'll let Jean-Claude, you go first with this one. It seems to be that the massive opportunity coming in the next, let's say, 5 to 8 years is going to be from the blends and formulations that are able to be created, whether it's be from fermentation engineering or when it's extracted individual cannabinoids, because the delivery mechanism is similar across the board. It uses technology to be able to consume. The models that you're going to be able to build are going to be able to build up this patient data, but those unique formulations that target, whether it's oncology, as you said, or chronic pain or cardiovascular inflammation or one of the things, is that the next big massive step that we're going to see when it comes to medical cannabis, is these unique formulations that end up being delivered for this exact nuanced disease mechanisms based on then body weight per size?
Well, I mean, let's look at what has kept this technology from being present with us right now, and really it's the presence of big data pools, which are precise, which are accurate, and which can be reliable markers for such products to be made, whether it is with precision growing products, or whether it is grown in a lab, or all the technologies around that. But a reliable marker of how humans interact with these different strains is something that we have not had so far. So it's difficult to tell the future, but definitely data-backed solutions will be a treasure trove for not just patients and doctors, but other areas of the industry, which can grow exponentially thanks to the data acquired.
Amazing. And to Itay, do you see the use of AI to be able to run these tests for these potential molecule combinations being another landmark when it comes to marrying these formulations to a degree?
This is definitely a big hype at the moment. A lot of companies are going about that. I would say the applicability of that, because there is no one formula which would fit everyone. I think conventional medicine had taught us that, looking at clinical trials and obviously real world data, the efficacy is not always the same. We are different people, different gender, different medical condition, and even different from one day to the other. The ability for those medicines to adapt to the patient and not the patient adapted to the medicine, I guess this would be the big change here. This is what precision medicine actually brings in. So a lot more molecules to work with, and the ability to understand what works for whom, when, how much. That would be the next leap, the way I see it in healthcare.
Incredible. It's been fascinating chat to you guys. What's the thing you're looking forward to seeing with Cellotex over the next 12 to 18 months? Are there any points on the horizon that you'd like to let everybody know about? Are these still company secrets for now?
It's actually not a secret. We have launched our activity in Germany, already working with compounding pharmacy. We're actually doing exactly as we have mentioned, the compounding specifically for those patients. We're going about observational studies starting from Germany, but will be expanded soon. So it's definitely looking forward to see where in a year's time where we will be, where the industry will be. But The way I see it, much more on the medical aspect of cannabis, not necessarily adult use, which again I can fully appreciate, but more patients actively using it as their medicine to relieve the symptoms.
Yeah, it seems to be Europe is definitely going to be focused on the medical side of the industry for the number of years to come. Jean-Claude, anything you're looking forward to seeing in the doctor side of things?
I think definitely having better data to treat patients better is something I look forward to. Being able to give a boost in the accuracy and credibility of the increasing number of doctors getting into cannabinoids, facing stigma sometimes from colleagues, and sort of being pressured about data. I think being able to give that to a growing community of really great clinicians is for me one of the highlights that I'd like to see. And we are working with doctors, with researchers, and really want to make this a tool to push the entire cannabis community, medical community, and recreational community forward.
Incredible. Definitely one to keep your eye on for everybody. For anybody who wants to know more about Cellotex, the website is below. It'll be available in all the descriptions where you watch or listen to this. But for now, Itay, Jean-Claude, thank you very much for your time. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Owen, for inviting us.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Have a good day, guys. Until next episode, everybody.